to believe. Not just in my ability to bring about change, but in your ability to bring about change. See, I know this change is possible because I've seen it. I've seen it over the last 21 months. Because in this campaign, I've had the privilege to witness what's best in America. I've seen it in the lines of voters that stretched around schools and churches, in the young people who cast their ballot for the very first time, and those not so young folks who got involved again after a very long time. I've seen it in the workers who'd rather cut back their hours than see their friends lose their jobs. In the neighbors who take a stranger in when the floodwaters rise. In the soldiers who re-enlist after losing a limb. I've seen it in the faces of the men and women I've met at countless rallies and town meetings across the country. Men and women who speak of their struggles, but also speak of their hopes and their dreams. You know, I still remember an email. I still remember an email that a woman named Robin sent to me after I met her in Fort Lauderdale. Sometime after our event, her son nearly went into cardiac arrest and was later diagnosed with a heart condition that could only be treated by a procedure that cost tens of thousands of dollars. And her insurance company refused to pay. And their family just didn't have that kind of money. And in her email, Robin wrote, I ask only this of you. On the days where you feel so tired you can't think of uttering another word to the people, think of us. When those who oppose you have you down, reach deep and fight back hard. Reach deep and fight back hard. Pittsburgh, that's what hope is. That thing inside us that insists, despite all the evidence to the contrary, that something better is waiting around the bend, that insists there are better days ahead, if we're willing to work for it, if we're willing to shed our fears and our doubts, if we're willing to reach deep down inside ourselves when we're tired, when we're worn out, when it looks like it's hopeless, and we come back and we fight harder. Hope. That's what this election is about. That's what kept our parents and our grandparents going when times were tough. You know, people in Allegheny County, you know about tough. You got folks who worked in tough jobs. Parents and grandparents, great-grandparents. You know, maybe they said to themselves, maybe I can't go to college, but if I save a little bit each week, maybe, just maybe, my child can. Maybe I can't own my own business, but if I work really hard, maybe, just maybe, my child can open one of her own. That's what led immigrants from distant lands to come to these shores against great odds and carve out a new life for their families in America. That's what led those who couldn't vote to march and organize and stand for freedom. That led them to cry out, it may look dark tonight, but if we hold on to hope, tomorrow will be brighter. That's what this election's about. That's the choice we face right now. Hope. So, let me just say this, don't believe for a second that this election's over. Don't think for a moment that power will concede anything. We have to work like our future depends on it in this last week, because it does. But just remember, it's 1 week. In 1 week, we can choose an economy that rewards work and creates new jobs and fuels prosperity from the bottom up. In 1 week, we can choose to invest in health care for our families, and education for our children, and renewable energy for our future. In 1 week, we can choose hope over fear, and unity over